What is going on, sports card fiends? Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day, and we are back again with episode number 5 of Sports Card Corner. I am joined with Caleb. What's going on, Caleb?
Oh, not much. Just chilling. How about you?
Oh, having a good old time. We've been sitting here on eBay and figured we could take a few seconds to talk about some cards that we've just been hashing out all day today. It's just been a ton of fun. We got basketball, finals obviously going on at this point. Going to talk a little bit about the end of the Eastern Conference. We also have football, just always in action at this point. 2 weeks to talk about, but we'll be talking mostly about last week. Soccer, ton of stuff's going on. That's just getting going. So, I'm doing good. We got so much sports to hash out. I'm sure you're
Yeah.
pumped too.
Oh, I'm pumped about it. Oh man, basketball's coming to a close in the finals, and
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be not a fun close.
yeah, I mean the Heat got blown the heck out in the first game. Kind of to be expected, I guess. I don't know. I mean, at this point, I felt like the Celtics again had the best chance against the Lakers. Felt like they had people that could actually score. And they did it, but the Heat did a good job. They doubled Kemba the whole time and really took him out of the game, got him out of a rhythm, and really quieted him. And Tatum really got cold there. He was really streaky,
Yeah,
which you can kind
those
of
first half
expect.
stats were bad.
You can kind of expect it out of a young guy, too. I mean, it takes a while to win in this league. LeBron, he didn't make a finals till year 8, but then since hasn't missed one. But it takes years to get there, so not crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely a good week of basketball. We'll start with the Heat and Celtics and get right on into that and kind of what we saw from that series. As far as like the breakout player of the series, it's got to be, Tyler Hero, just because of his 37-point game, and he had decent stats all around in the series. You think that was pretty impressive?
Yeah, I think he averaged like 20 points because of that 37-point game. That really helps the good old average, but definitely exciting. And he's a prospect I assume would bud eventually. Uh, I was interested really to see how it would translate kind of mid-range and other stuff besides the three-point shooting.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like he's going to be able to do a lot of those different things in the NBA, so that's exciting. But yeah, he definitely needs to turn it on in the finals. He's going to have big nights if they're going to have a chance.
Yeah, really, you need his scoring. The Heat kind of rely on a different guy every single night, it feels like. And if, you can rely on him as much as possible and as much as he's shown, that'd be great. But, is it going to just, suddenly take over in a finals? I don't know. It
Yeah.
seems like it's going to be difficult. But, that's what happens, I guess. The Heat really weren't meant for this. I see all the trolls on Twitter going around with their copy and paste of LeBron's route to the final. I can see it on the wall already. It's
Yeah.
not going to be a fun 4-6. It's still going to be bad if it
Yeah,
happens. I might be
it's
getting ahead
tough.
of myself.
I don't think so at this point.
Yeah, I think they're
Uh,
10-1 odds now. They were like 3-1 before that game. So
I was pretty, again, unless the Celtics got there, I don't know, everybody was depleted. The bubble was a whole weird situation. The Clippers clearly underperformed, but somehow still took away, in my mind, the next best team in the West at that point with the Mavericks because Porzingis got hurt. So it's crazy. It's nutty. We didn't even get to see. The Nuggets took away we didn't even get to see what I thought was the second best team in the NBA. They just look so bad. So, but hey, you got to beat them to get there, and they could not do it. So, hey, LeBron will get a ring with the third team. That's pretty cool. I don't like that the Lakers win though. Ew. So
yeah, it's pretty nasty from an average fan perspective, I'd imagine. But yeah, obviously Tyler Hero's a standout guy, but I don't know, overall just disappointed in the Celtics because, I don't know, while Tatum's young, he got to the finals a couple years ago and almost won a series against LeBron, and then to fall pretty heavily against a Heat team. I don't, just not what you like to see, but I think all the Eastern teams are just going to get better, you know? I don't I don't see the East getting too much worse soon, so
Yeah, I
definitely
mean,
feels like a
yeah,
missed opportunity.
it sucks. I mean, you're right. I mean, like the Celtics got to their second conference finals, so and he did get to face LeBron before. I mean,
Mm,
it was definitely a bummer that that he's 0-2 in conference finals. That's tough. I mean, again, Kemba, you could say he was coming off injury. Gordon was coming off injury. It'll be interesting to see if they can keep this team all together. But if they can, I mean, again, I think they're super dangerous and really capable of winning a championship. Jaylen Brown really, really, really looked nice this bubble.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and yeah, I mean, I think they're an absolutely disgusting squad if they can somehow manage to stay together and win a championship. And I like Kemba, so hopefully he can get back to healthy. But it really felt like that they were the best team, but they really underperformed in my opinion.
yeah.
But I mean, hey,
I
80s
definitely
played
agree.
great.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. I definitely agree that they probably should have been the favorite coming out of that, but I mean, just goes one of two ways, you know. And I mean, I do agree as far as like cards that we would take away from the series, you know, cards you think about are players' cards, like the player itself, who you come away from this series thinking of differently. One of them for me is Jaylen Brown. Like, I mean, Tyler Hero, obviously, you know, just seeing the big shine, but Jaylen Brown was kind of just a consistent, you know, key guy for the Celtics that I feel like is just gonna not get as much shine because you know you got Tatum and other scorers there. So I don't think
Yeah,
it gets
you're
enough love, and then just kind of being the second guy, you know, you're naturally underrated.
yeah, I really feel like he has a Harden kind of potential, where like he could leave a team and be really, really good.
Yeah,
He's definitely got a lot of skills, and his 3 pointers. What's really surprised me with how big he is and how nice he can shoot the three. I felt like at times he was the Celtics' best 3-point shooter, and I
mm,
thought and more consistent. So and like his drive ability and being able to shoot the three, he's dangerous. And he can play defense and so athletic. I think he's like he can be like a juice version of, like Klay Thompson, just, less shooting ability, but plus athleticism, but more athleticism. So, um, you know, he's a great two-way player.
no, yeah, that's yeah. Watching my boy Duncan was pretty hard during that series. He just teams just eye him down now. It's the worst, man. I love when no one cared about him. You just let him shoot. But
Yeah.
yeah, no more of that. So pretty tough. But yeah, I mean, I'm guessing you agree with me then. You would your guy of the series be Jalen then?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he was definitely really impressive. I mean, not that Tatum played bad or anything, and like he's averaged this playoff series. He's averaged more than he had averaged before in the playoffs. So he did take a step up. It's just hard when you know at this point we had high expectations for the Celtics. So and they choked a couple games. So it's tough, but yeah. Again, I think both are going to be really good, and I still think that they're going to win championships. They're really, really young.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun to see them going forward. As far as the Denver and Lakers series, that we saw some good games in there. It's closer than the series score would indicate, right? I mean, wasn't that big of a blowout.
Oh, yeah, the first 3 games were, obviously the game-winning shot with AD, which in my, kind of won the series. I mean, that's tough. That's just mentally heartbreaking. It's pretty tough to overcome, and that first game was a lot closer than I was expecting to. I figured the Nuggets would be just burnt out, tired, and they'd get blown out. That was not the case at all. So they're fun.
Yeah, no, it'll be a lot of fun going forward. And speaking of what you're excited for going forward with them, what would be the player or two that you're looking to buy during the offseason that you've taken away from this series?
I mean, I still like Michael Porter Jr. Obviously, he's not consistent. I like the fact that he's low. Again, he hasn't played a full NBA season yet, and there was really nice glimmers of him, and he's definitely going to be able to score the ball. Excited for him to have like a full off season to instead of be doing rehab to be training and shooting and getting prepared and getting his body right, not just getting back to healthy. Like I think that's going to be really important for him, and I do like that. And obviously Jamal Murray, he really was the guy that emerged from the bubble. Really clutch, could really score in a lot of different ways, and some of those really nice finesse layup that I think of the around the world like layup that he had, just that circus shot, that was really nice. So he can just get done in a lot of ways, and I think it again, making it to the conference finals, especially when the Nuggets had an early exit last year, like that's a really good sign.
Oh yeah. No, I agree with both those guys. I think definitely more to come away with on the Nuggets side of things. I mean, the Lakers are the Lakers. We kind of knew what we were getting. So
Yeah,
I mean,
but that's
on the same side, I would agree with Jamal Murray. I'd also go down to Jokic. I'm sure at some point you could get a nice little drop off on him and be able to buy at a low. But I mean, he just gets a lot of media shine too, and he's like kind of fun in the media, which I don't know.
yeah.
You never really expect it. So once you can get it, that's just obviously a positive. And I mean, gameplay alone and passing ability aside, and just the pick and roll game that they can kill anyone with, it's like definitely
Yeah.
like him along with Jamal. But kind of coming from this series and then going backwards just a second, like Jamal was obviously sick, but he did have the series against Donovan Mitchell that could have gone either way almost. And
Oh,
Donovan Mitchell was
100%.
sick. So I actually do think Donovan Mitchell might be a buy too, just because like Jamal Murray kind of validated himself, even more. He wasn't at zero against the Lakers. So, I mean,
Yeah.
definitely helps Donovan Mitchell's stock, and they could be better next year too. So get some players healthy. But yeah, I think those are my two, Jokic and then the outside shot, Donovan Mitchell. But I mean, the real story I guess you could take out of this too is the price of third tier guys. We got one example in the East and one in the West. Basically, I mean, we saw this with would you say Geoff did a lot of talking about second, third year guys? I don't know. I saw it a lot on Instagram. I feel like it was kind of
Yeah.
a thing. I mean, honestly, I don't know. It's tough because I feel like with so much demand recently, like it's hard to think that demand for third tier guys will stay. I mean, I don't know. What did you think of it whenever it was going on?
Yeah, I mean, it just really depended on the player. Like, you know, with if it's a role player that has a really key role that's important for the team, like, say like Marcus Smart or like obviously like Draymond Green, like those guys are defensive player of the year caliber. They're the garbage man. They're really interesting because you will talk about them on a team if they can win, and they are important, and they're energizers for the team, and you see them getting passionate on the TV and pumping up the huddle. I think those kind of third tier guys are really nice plays. But then if you look at just like the third scoring option, I don't think that's a very good look. I mean, again, the Celtics were kind of a different area because you didn't know who was going to be the top scorer with Kemba, Tatum, and Jalen eventually, and so like that's an interesting play. But when you're talking about the guys that we're talking about, like Kuzma, like LeBron and AD like are on two very very. There's a big tier gap essentially, and there's also other vets on the Lakers that had a lot of starlight at one point. Like Dwight Howard was MVP of the league, took a team to the finals by himself, and Rajon Rondo, he he beat LeBron in the East at one point, with the Celtics, and he dropped 50 on LeBron one night, like back in the day, and is top 10 all time like assists in the playoffs. So when you have those guys kind of outshining like the third scoring option or proposed third scoring option, that's a tough piece, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, I bought some Marcus Smarts going into the playoffs, and that was like, I mean, kind of just a flipping piece in the sense that, Boston fans are going to love him. Like, he's just like,
Yeah.
he's just a dude that goes around and does it all. And while he may kill you when he shoots, 20 times in a game 6, then it's like,
don't want that.
it's bad. But at the same time, everything he does for your team, it's memorable, And so like people are going to want that more than, they'll want Kyle Kuzma, who I mean, I don't know if you're betting on him for the prospect chance, but his prices, we did a little comparison here. Kyle Kuzma went from $300 at the beginning of the bubble to $130 in PSA 10 Prism form. So his drop pretty substantially, even though they're in the finals. I mean, and also Tyler Hero is in the finals, but not looking as good right now. His went from $300 at the start of the bubble to $400. So obviously, Tyler Hero took it up a whole new level, but even then, he still only went up $100, which isn't that great. And Kyle Kuzma is just kind of staggered and drops like 60%. It's like, it's pretty tough.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's definitely hard. And like Heroes, Kuzma's been in the league a while now, and Hero's a rookie prospect who was, I mean, I personally think underrated. I mean, like, you're the main guy coming out of Kentucky, and he was just, as he says, a bucket. So it made sense, and for him to get that far and be a big help for the team at times, like, that's really exciting. But yeah, I don't know. It's tough. Like, are the Heat going to be able to make this run again? I'm not sure. I really like Jimmy Butler, and I really like Tyler Hero, though, so I understand the appeal.
Yeah, definitely. Man, I don't know. It's kind of tough, but I mean, at this point, it's just kind of a reminder that, we probably shouldn't be buying any basketball in general. I mean, we talk about it every single time, but I mean, I think that's, why the market has done what it's done recently with kind of the big drop off, because, teams that are knocked out, obviously not really buying them right now, nothing they're going to do too soon. And even teams that are going to win, like, yeah, it's like, it's not the only narrative I could see it changing the most is ADs, but other than that.
Yeah, but most of the time, like, when you're knocking out teams, you're knocking out interest.
Oh yeah.
Like, we start off with 16 teams, 16 different fan bases. People are really excited. That's like half the league is really, really pumped for the playoffs, and market's really hot. And then we're eliminating teams. So, and while the Laker market is super big, like, interest is just going to go down because not as many teams are playing. And, for some people, it's like, I don't care who wins. My team didn't win anymore, so I'm out. So it's not shocking.
Yeah, it's pretty understandable. I don't think we need to, I think we've drilled it home enough, honestly, but it's always good to say it. Just make sure they know. I mean, it's just weird, but it is what it is. We'll wait. And honestly, one thing we would both definitely recommend is, while it may not be a time to buy right now, it's definitely still a time to, write down what you're thinking about, maybe look for some snipes on things that, you have a decent amount that are getting listed so that way you can actually find them. But I mean, you just got to get the list ready. You got to know who you want during the off season so you can kind of map out what you want to do in the upcoming months before we get into the next season again, when this theoretically all happens again. I'm sure it won't. I wouldn't say I'm sure, but I'm pretty sure it won't boom the same way. But, you're still going to have your valleys during the off season. That's just how it goes. So nothing to be too shocked by here. In terms of a sport just coming out of the off season, that we'll move on over into football and what's been going on there. One thing that has just kind of, been announced moderately recently is that Drew Lock is going to be back maybe in week 6. They're trying to push him back.
Ooh.
It's kind of some interesting injury news, because like his PSA 9 optic was $80 like pre-injury, dropped to $20. And then, if he ends up coming back in like, 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks, it's like, now it's all the way back up to 80 again. You could have gotten 4x just off of a short little injury break. It's kind of crazy.
I mean, yeah, that is nuts. I mean, we've said it before that we like to buy on injuries if we do believe in the player. So I guess it's another good, it's just a good example of it. It works in football too. And quarterback injuries, they're a lot easier to come back from usually than, other players as well. So another like nice thing about it, like, if a quarterback, unless it's, Lamar Jackson, if they tore their ACL, it's not a big deal. They're not, they're not losing a step isn't that crazy for most quarterbacks. So stuff like that, or even a wrist or a bone, like it can all be comebackable from. So
Yeah, she'll be
yeah,
fine throwing wise. But yeah, I
exactly.
mean, in terms of that, the one takeaway, and there could be a couple, but definitely, I mean, if you want to follow some news guys on Twitter, just throw on some alerts. If you like getting alerts on your phone and just having things to look at, I mean, couldn't be bad. Just finding out when people get injured, maybe buy a card on a dip, and or buy a card before you get the first announcement that it's back. Like whenever I saw Cam Newton get announced, I went on eBay and honestly probably could have bought some, but I was just like, I'm not even sure. I've never really done this before, buying on injuries, but it would have worked out greatly. And I mean, just all from being on Twitter at the right time. But I'm sure if you had notifications rolling in, there'd definitely be a lot of spots you could take advantage of.
Yeah, like for sure.
Yeah.
And a big game that happened this weekend, week 3, was that Chiefs versus Ravens game. Man, like what a crazy fun game to start the season. Obviously one that people are really into. Like Lamar versus Mahomes is a big deal now that Lamar Jackson and Mahomes each have that MVP. And I don't know, what were your takeaways from that game?
Yeah, I mean, it's Mahomes. It is what it is. I mean, Ravens go 0-3 against them all time now, or I guess just the Mahomes team. But it kind of solidifies what I think people kind of thought on both sides. That the Chiefs can do about anything with Mahomes, like he's their savior, and that the Ravens, they're the team that's gotten knocked out early in the playoffs 2 years in a row. Maybe they're just not as meant for the big game, and actually having to keep up, like throwing with the pace of Mahomes. Like I don't. It's just, I mean, I definitely like Lamar, but I don't like the relative comparison to Mahomes. I think that he's a step down, but I kind of thought
Agree.
that before this, though. I don't think your opinions are going to be entirely changed by one game, and they shouldn't be, because that'd be weird. But it was definitely a fun game to
Yeah.
watch, and honestly was looking a lot more rough at the beginning. I'm glad it got a bit better.
Yeah, I mean Mahomes. I mean, my goodness, it felt like I saw the Chiefs' defense looked a lot better, first of all, than it had. Like it looked like Swiss cheese at the beginning of the season, but the whole team, because it was Lamar versus Mahomes, it really felt like had a chip on their shoulder. I mean, we saw Mahomes hold up the 4 on his finger, confused.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was ranked the 4th best QB in the league and was pretty upset about it, or the 4th best player in the league. Like, um, you could tell there was a chip on his shoulder, and he scored a ton of touchdowns that game, and really threw himself back in the MVP race with it too. So I don't know. Mahomes is a bad man, and you know if they go back to back, Lord knows what's going to happen to those cards. But hopefully you bought before, right after the Super Bowl, and not during this crazy this off season, because the cards are going down still for Mahomes even now. But it seems to me that he is, the best QB in the league. Well, Russell Wilson has done some nice things recently too. So, and I don't know, but they both have nice weapons at this point. But those two are clearly the best 2 players in the NFL in my mind, and it's not very close.
Yeah, I think Wilson's getting a lot of MVP love right now, and it'll be a lot of fun. As far as Mahomes' prices, though, they kind of, I mean, while he's been looking good, obviously the Chiefs are off to a good run so far. They had the, kind of slip up against the Chargers, but they ended up, managing it. And, yeah, his Optic PSA 10 base has gone from 1,600 to 1,000, even with these pretty decent games. So, I mean, I don't know. If you believe in him long term, like, it doesn't feel like a terrible time to buy, what you would kind of assume usually, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know. Like, do you bet on him winning a Super Bowl? Super Bowls are so tough, you know, that if he did win another, it'd be insane. But yeah, I don't know.
Could hope to see what you get going into the playoffs. Maybe they win a game or two and sell then. I mean, honestly, the way we've kind of seen like, basketball go, like even if you hold through a Super Bowl, it's not going to be that crazy probably. I mean, with Mahomes, getting a second one, it would be pretty validating, but I still don't think you'd get the pop that you would need to justify the risk,
Yeah, I mean, it's, whew, I mean, I'd sell. It's still like, it's crazy. Or hold. I mean, again.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I get it. As far as one of your guys that you might be holding on to still after what you've been seeing, Josh Allen, another winning week. Great stats all around. Didn't sweat it out at all. That was a pretty interesting one. I had a small wager on Buffalo, like I think it was -2. I was having a great day. It's 28-3. Just not a care in the world. Getting carried all over the field, and then the second half hits, and this man can't do anything. He gets saved on the final drive with
that pass interference.
With the pass interference call. Oh man, just saved him. Honestly, it was pretty terrifying. But your guy did kill it again, which is 3 games in a row now. He's just absolutely going at it.
Yeah, he's nice. Yeah, I mean his cards are nutty. Like still like $50 an optic or something like that. It's nuts. He's very, very good. Also in that MVP race, I like Josh Allen not just because not just because of his quarterbacking skills, but I think he's got the best defense of the 3 guys that we name of Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson. I think Josh Allen's got that best defense, which gives you the best chance of winning a Super Bowl. So I like that even more so than anything else. So it's crazy.
Yeah, team element's definitely something you got to consider when looking at the cards, which, I mean, might not be as considered as it should be, especially with the love that teams start to get, as they start winning the playoffs. Hype gets there. They find their cards in need eventually. But as far as a team that probably won't be doing that, we got Joe Burrow. He's getting a little bit of love. He's looking good, making the Browns work for it, making the Eagles work for it. Ended up with a tie. I mean, I guess it's something, but I mean,
the Eagles are bad. Oh my gosh.
Man,
I feel bad for people who are like, you know what I'm going to do? Carson Wentz is down this year. I'm going to buy some Carson Wentz cards. I feel bad for you. They need a hug.
Yeah,
That's tough.
They'll be holding, I'd imagine. It's just divisions for the taking for Dallas, If somehow they mess this up, it's going to be something. But, yeah,
Dallas had a tough first few games, though, I'll be honest.
Yeah, that's pretty fair. But they did luck out for their one. But I don't know.
Yes.
Joe Burrow obviously is kind of given Andrew Luck vibes in the sense that, his O-line might just get him killed. So, I mean,
yeah,
it's just like the equivalent. I mean, I guess I can't judge his frailness, but it gives me Zion vibes in the sense like I'm just going to cringe every time I watch this man play if I had his cards, It'd be tough.
And it's not because of anything of his body or anything like that. It's just, granted, that hit that he did take was a late penalty hit, but, still.
Yeah.
And, I respect him, but, and Andrew Luck, they have a problem of they're great quarterbacks, so they will step up in the pocket, take the hit, and make the throw, which is great, but you do that every single week for 5 years, and you're going to get destroyed. So, taking the hit sometimes on an occasion is one thing, but when you're having to take the hit, to make a throw multiple times a game, it's not easy for those guys.
No, yeah, I couldn't imagine. I mean, I'm definitely, again, not hating on Joe himself. I'm just saying it's going to be a rough spot. So, I mean, shout out to them. They're living it, man. They're living life on the edge. But geez, man, going from Mahomes and Lamar hype to another little Russ topic. I mean, at this point, it feels like the love for Russ is at an all time high. I mean, everyone now is saying he's underrated. I mean,
Let him
and
cook.
he's always been underrated, but like, yeah, exactly. Just finally given the offense a bit more, allowed to actually unleash, and got DK on his side. I know you love yourself some DK. I
Mm.
mean, it's just looking great. It's looking great. As far as his cards, they've went from the PSA 9 Topps Chrome was $40 in March, and now it's $440. So, I think the market's kind of accounting for that, huh?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty nutty. He's great. He's definitely a Super Bowl favorite. Or I mean, sorry, MVP favorite. I mean Super Bowl too.
Yeah,
Their defense has been a little questionable though. They've allowed like the most passing yards of any team. But yeah, he's really exciting. Uh, obviously, don't buy his cards now. Uh, like they're gonna lose games. Again, it's early in the season. They're 3-0. Teams have bad games. It's going to happen at some point. Uh, we've had one team go 16-0, and only one undefeated team ever. So they will lose games at some point, and even still, just don't buy them because they're way too high at this point.
yeah. They're basically America's team right now. I feel like everyone's kind of buying in on them. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a weird spot to be at, but yeah, I'd agree on probably the no buy. It's just I don't know. I love him, but at this point,
That's pretty much that should be our new podcast name. The don't what cards not to buy. Just don't the
yeah,
no buy
yeah.
zone.
We'll give you some buys, but we're definitely gonna warn you as far as where not
But
to
we're
look
mostly
and
just gonna tell you
probably
no.
why. Yeah, we're gonna be like, this
We
is tempting, isn't it? Isn't he doing so good? Don't you just love that? We'll just be like,
don't buy it.
sorry, we just slap your wrist. We're like, come on,
Yeah.
you don't need that.
We're your
But
conscience.
yeah, I mean, we try. We got to do that to ourselves sometimes. But going on over to, I guess we'll go to soccer and talk about a person that I've been slapping myself on the wrist not to buy too much of. Is Pulisic. We'll give a little health update.
Mm,
Apparently, I'll give it an 8 out of 10. I think we'll every week just rate it. I mean, this could become a weekly thing because even when he plays, he gets injured a lot. So I just
it's
kind of always
true.
want to keep a good, sliding scale just to see where he's at. But we'll give it an 8. He actually said he was fully fit and ready to play, so could be playing this week. It's not announced if he's in a lineup, and I don't think manager Lampard has decided anything yet, so we'll keep an eye out. But he says he's ready to go, so I'm pumped about that. And I mean, I know you have yourself a little bit of Pulisic too. I think it's a pretty decent buy right now. It has been
Always buy
for
Pulisic. I'm gonna say until the World Cup hype starts. I mean, I just buy.
yeah, I mean,
Unabashedly spend all of your money on him. It's great.
yeah. Every time we talk about Pulisic, I just compare his prices to Gio Reyna, who's like, he's fun, but I mean, Gios are nuts. So to think like Pulisic comes back and starts killing at Chelsea again, maybe. I mean, his prices could go pretty crazy. So I'm still looking. Might buy a little bit more, but like you said, we're always looking at that. I can't wait to see him back in action, just blazing down the pitch.
I know. He's so fast. He's so good with the
Twitter
ball. He
highlights
breaks
galore.
ankles.
Gosh, I can't
He
wait.
can finish with both feet. Oh, he's perfect.
Oh
And
yeah,
he's wearing the 10. Oh, I can't wait.
be a sight to see. But yeah, as far as our American players, that's really what we're going through today. I mean, there has been some decent into the weed soccer stuff, but we're mostly American based. We're homers, that's how it works. But got Serginho Dest to Barca this week, which was just immense news. It's kind of been lingering for a while now.
Hype.
Yeah, oh yeah, big hype. He's he'd been rumored with Bayern and Barca for like 3 weeks now. It was going back and forth. It was such a tease. Honestly, pretty happy that he went to Barca. I feel like he'll get definite playing time. I mean, Bayern defense, like we were kind of mentioning earlier, little lacking. So, I don't know. I mean, either way, it would have been great. Just to be able to say we got another player at those caliber clubs. It's great, isn't it?
Oh, I mean, yeah, it's just so nice just looking at our start, our possible starting 11 just all playing and just super high high tier teams. It's just, clubs. It's so exciting.
It's so
And
young too, so young.
they're all so young, and they're gonna get a bunch of experience, and him getting to just even be on the same team as Messi. That's so sick. So
Yeah, I can't. Oh man, yeah, we'll have McKennie playing with Ronaldo and Des playing with Messi. It'll just be
I'm a
great
happy
pictures all
camper.
over Twitter. My USMT follows or USMNT. Jeez, so that's hard, but those follows are going to be great. I recommend just searching up, that little slogan and then just following everyone because there's so much content there. There's nice little like 2-minute videos where you can see all the players' touches and everything. It's great. It's so great.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't wait to see it.
Happy highlights. It's awesome. it's so sweet. Speaking of another, we got Christopher Richards,
Oh yeah.
Bayern, another defender. So subbed him in for a league game with the German Cup Finals appearances. Like in 2-3 game against Dortmund. Like that's so sick. Like, man, just more players. Just let's go.
Just
All
popping
big
up
clubs.
everywhere. You'd love to see it. He got he got like 20 minutes and at the end of the game subbed down in like a league final. It's pretty nice. I mean,
That's awesome.
shows some trust. Their defense is kind of I mean, like I was just mentioning, kind of lacking. It's not too deep. So he got called up from the Bayern 2 side to play with the club, and I'm pretty excited. Him and Gio exchange jerseys at the end. Just love seeing couple.
That's hot.
Yeah, just a couple absolute stars colliding. That's great to see. And yeah, man, you just think about it. It's like, I don't know. We talk about it all the time, but when we saw soccer kind of go up a little bit lately, everything went up 3 to 4 times in price at least, just from a little bit of hype. But
Champions League.
Yeah, Champions League hype and basketball kind of slowing down was essentially the two paths that we're crossing that caused soccer cards to go up 3 to 4 times as much. And there's just not enough pop for all this type of stuff. We have all these, and we have all these young guys. When in the past have you seen the U.S. have like 2-3 guys that were on like S tier teams? I mean, just never. So people can think
Dempsey
that we're gonna
was on Tottenham for like a hot minute.
Yeah, it's like
and Landon Donovan was over. I can't even remember what German team it was on. I was too young because then he came back to the MLS because he didn't like it. Like that's it.
Yeah, it's just
we have 11.
Yeah, we haven't had any, and now we have like. Yeah, a definite few that are on S tier teams and ton on A tier, and they're all young. It's like, so they're all young. We have as much talent, I think, as ever, and their pop counts are not going to be able to support a 2022 or 2026 World Cup if they are legitimately playing for the team. So,
and we're fierce. I mean, we have a good. We have a good chance for like a Copa. We'll be competitive. Like that's exciting. Like
yeah, we can actually have fun in international matches now.
Yeah,
do a little bit of something
exciting against good teams. Like imagine like us being able to compete with, Portugal and stuff back in 2014. Like we're actually gonna have like a team that's loaded with people who know what they're doing.
No, I don't. I mean, and then I mean, at 2022 and. Even 2026, like these guys are so young, they're still like their card prices will be immense because of the demand, I'd imagine, in theory, and also their potential going forward would be high because they're so young still. Like,
yeah, they're all still growing into who they are as soccer players.
Yeah, you got them both really working for you.
Yeah, it's exciting. Yeah, the potential of not only what's going to happen to the soccer market, but the fact that, I mean. We believe that they're actually going to be like the United States is going to be a good soccer team in the whole world. Like we're actually going to be competitive, which we have not seen. We have been extreme underdogs for the last 10 years.
Been too fun.
So it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. big shout out to Leroy Sané buyers as well. I mean, he's actually injured now, so I think you should be buying. But if you bought before, it's pretty depressing because, Prism kind of dropped recently and the soccer card market has a little bit. And then to add an injury on top of that's no fun. But of course, like we say, that presents a buying opportunity. So keep an eye peeled. I mean, Prisms are pretty affordable at this point, and got Optic and Don Russell, like I do believe. So just keep eyes peeled. But yeah, as far as going the other way with it, we'll hop on over to some rising stocks players. Not necessarily players you'd want to buy, but players you'd think about maybe buying later. Because we'll start off with 3 NBA players. Our slogan, of course, is with NBA players playing, we don't want to buy now. But in theory,
No.
say like a couple months down the line when basketball's nice and calm, would you be buying these cards? So we'll start with Tyler Hero. Would you maybe think about it when the market's cooler?
It would have to be pretty cool. I honestly think that next season, I think it'll even be cooler than this off season, to be honest with you. I think, I mean, again, it just takes a while for rookies. I think he can be out of sight, out of mind all next year and cool off. So I'd probably just say no. I'd wait.
Yeah, you'd really need to be hoping for him to like absolutely kind of take over, because what people saw, so late into the playoffs is going to leave a pretty lasting image. So
Yeah.
I would agree. I'm still not really keen on that. I would just find some other third year, fourth year player that's probably more undervalued for what, he's currently going at, just because they're naturally more undervalued at that time. But I do agree. In terms of another one, we talked about this earlier, AD's prices actually have just kind of steadily gone down since the beginning of the bubble. But would you think about buying AD at a basketball bottom area?
No. I just
Not a big fan.
I couldn't do it. I mean, I think he's gonna probably win Finals MVP if they do win. I mean, I think he's been a consistently better player than LeBron. I know that's blasphemous. This whole year, he's looked really good. So, but not my cup of tea. And I don't know. I just, I think there could be a legit resentment for him winning Finals MVP. So I don't think that'd make more fans.
LeBron stands get pissed. They don't want
They
his card.
could.
They're like, come on, dude. Just give
him
the
in the
man his
first
Finals
place.
MVP. He wouldn't be here without LeBron. Yeah, I could see some hate coming out, but yeah, I mean, personally, it's just like where the basketball market is right now. You would have to be pretty certain that this guy could do it post LeBron, and it's like, I know he's really good, but I don't know. Trusting a big with, to basically carry your team has always been something that's been difficult lately. So we saw how it was going with the Pelicans. I mean, it's not the same as it potentially could be, but it's not anything I would, go to the bank on that he's going to win more rings post LeBron. So that I don't think he'll be able to justify that price for that long. I mean, maybe if you're looking for a short-term flip, depending on where you see the market, I guess, but it'd be tough. Especially coming off rings. Like, you're not going to get value there, I don't think. So we'll go much in the same line of that with our third one, and that's LeBron. I mean, heat wise, there's not going to be that many players, so we got to put AD and LeBron both on here. If in theory you had a large sum of money to put into a LeBron card, would you do it?
I mean,
2 months down the line.
I've bought his rookies even this year, but just find a different one. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
There's just so many options that, if you're a big LeBron fan, like, you can get LeBron James rookie cards for like $20. Like, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a ton of really cool LeBron James rookie cards you could get for like $20, $30, $40, so that's just part of it. So, I mean, I definitely don't mind it. He's, when he wins this, that bumps him up the list there for me. He'll win with 3 teams now. That's pretty cool. So, granted, I mean, I don't think he's gonna win one again. I just, it's tough, and you'd have to get more bench players, and I don't know. I'm just gonna be honest. The Warriors are gonna come back with such a vengeance next year.
I knew that's where you're coming.
I just and when Giannis most likely goes there because
Stop.
He's a ring chaser now. I don't know.
People are gonna bully him into ring chasing like they did KD.
I don't know. Yeah, like I feel like all the press has gone like away from the Warriors, and I've seen Twitter news of players like, yeah, I'd like to go there. So, I don't know. I'd be careful there. I don't know. Klay Thompson. He's talked real scary after being hurt. He seems really
not
angry.
Happy. And it's shocker.
Game 6 Klay is looking to kill next year, so it's gonna be tough. But I mean, I don't know. Like again, LeBron's a great long term buy. Maybe let's wait a little bit. Like, I think like he's definitely degressed. Like, there's still obviously like flashes of like LeBron James, but he's not as consistent anymore, which is weird. Even this whole playoffs, I've noticed like, there's nights where he can absolutely go off, but he just doesn't have it in the tank like he did, 2 years ago, which, I mean, it's just natural. He's been in the league for so long, but yeah, I think there's, I mean, we've seen it in the playoffs. Like, he's gone like from 17 to like 35, which is weird because like for the floor for LeBron James, it always feels like 28 points is the floor. So
yeah,
it's been weird.
Be able just to get that naturally, but yeah, it's like I don't know. As a defender, maybe it's just the turnaround on the games. Obviously, playing a game every other day for this long. Obviously, you also had rest beforehand, but could be it. But in terms of if I'm buying, like you said, I mean, there definitely are some cool cards. We've talked about that Matrix one a lot. Basically the Heat big 3 on it for 100 raw, 150, something like that. It's pretty crazy. You can find great cards of LeBron rookies, so I definitely agree there. But yeah, again, I mean, long-term buy, probably. I mean, it's just I wouldn't be buying anytime soon. Not even
4
within
rings
2 months.
Hype.
I mean,
four rings, 3 teams. That's sick.
Yeah, it's just
and he's still got an outside chance of the all-time scoring leader. So
yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. It's a good long-term buy, but like over the next 8 months, you'd have to hold it you'd have to wait a couple months, then you'd have to hold it for like 3 or 4 months probably during the season, and it's like it's not going to do that much then. So because LeBron doesn't even care till the playoffs start, so it's not like card collectors are going to be like, oh man, Lakers are 40-25, time to buy. Like, no one's gonna really care. Just when the playoffs get there, it'll get booming. So I would definitely wait a little bit longer. But in terms of kind of going on this LeBron track a little longer, just to compare what's happened the last couple seasons with Kawhi and LeBron as they went through the playoffs, like card price wise, we'll talk about that. Did a little searching on the good old search engine and came up with last year Kawhi's Prism PSA 10 was $60 a month before the playoffs. After winning his ring, they were $320. So pretty substantial increase. Obviously, the Raptors weren't, people's given favorite to win. So I guess a pretty substantial increase makes sense. And by the time the next season started, they were $510. So, I mean, obviously a pretty high climbing coaster there, but what do you think of it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. With Kawhi, it's just funny in general. Like, there was a ton of hype. People were talking that he was the best player in the world for one good run. Like, I don't know. Again, if Klay doesn't get hurt or if KD doesn't get hurt, like, I mean, shoot. Like, if the bench could score more than 40 points, I mean, like, there was that game where Steph dropped like 50 and the bench couldn't even score like 40 points. Like, if any of those things were possible, like, I don't think that Kawhi wins that championship. So, it was a fluky win. It was just a thing of like we watched the whole Warriors bench, like Sean Livingston and those old guys like Iggy just like completely run out of gas. Like they were like, we've been to 5 straight, we can't do it anymore. Like we're out. So it was tough. Towel.
Yeah, it's definitely something. I mean, only by the time they won from a month before the playoffs, like all that time, and obviously not anyone's really given team to win, and it only goes up 5x. I mean, it's really cool, but that was a time when the market was growing a lot more, and
that's true too,
relatively. So it's really not that crazy for how underrated like they were, or I guess properly rated, but how low odds they had. I don't know. And then the market, as we could see, grew from 320 to 510 by the start of the next season, but that's not. I don't know. I don't think you're going to see a continual incline with these cards like we've been seeing. LeBron's cards are going down mid-win, mid. I mean, it's not the same market at that point. So
yeah, it's just adjusting. People got really excited, and then it's like, oh well, how high can it go? And then it's like, oh well, I don't really want to spend any more money, so it's just flattened off. So that's just what it's gonna do, and it's gonna go down. Because people are going to want to sell, and it'll recorrect and go back up at some point. But, everybody's just kind of figuring it out.
Yeah, and this year, I mean, it's like the ratio of these numbers don't matter because it's a new year and basketball cards are at a, new place. So don't look at that. But LeBron's Topps Chrome PSA 10 a month before the playoffs this year were 9.6 thousand. And currently are at 13,000, which is pretty good, but they did go up to like 16 or something, kind of a hype time. So, I mean, obviously a lot different scenario with LeBron kind of not being the favorite, but basically the favorite with the Clippers to end up winning this. So, I mean, it's you still see a 40% increase, I guess, which is pretty nice. But I just think that the playoffs are going to, kind of fizzle out. The hype's going to die, and this card might just hit what it had pre-playoffs or maybe even go lower.
Yeah, I mean, again, we talked about it. Like we felt those card prices were going up with the thoughts that anyway it was a guaranteed win for him. Mm-hmm. Like, we felt that those cards were rising to that price anyway. So, like, people were kind of writing it as the Lakers were going to win this championship. So, it makes sense, like that it could get back to that point. But I wouldn't see it going much over. Yeah. If it reaches back to it at this point. So.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, yeah, it is what it is. It's like 4 rings isn't gonna. I mean, how many more people are gonna go out and buy a LeBron James $10,000 rookie card because he won a
Laker
4th ring?
Bandwagons. I mean, didn't care till now.
I guess that's a theory, and they're. I'm sure
there's a lot of bandwagon Lakers, like a lot of people who are like Lakers fans, but like the bandwagon types,
That's fair. He might be, yeah. I guess that's a good case.
It's gonna be really annoying.
He's in a
that's
better
like
market
the worst
for
part.
It.
Is like I hate Lakers fans. Like, oh gosh,
gets you every time. Me. But yeah, that'll be interesting to see. But can only guess at this point. But as far as some things that we're maybe not liking as much this week, we like to start off with what we're not liking as much, and then end the week on some buys. End it off on a nice note. But what are you out for blood for this week? Who are you against?
People who are buying Russell Wilson rookie cards right now. Come on, guys. Like, we talked about it in the off season. In the off season, they shot up a whole bunch. Like, why would you continuously buy on the guy's ultimate high? He's thrown, 14 passing touchdowns in 3 weeks. Like, that's an insane amount. Why would you buy at this point? That makes no sense. I get you like him. I get he's really cool and fun, and he's really fun to watch. I don't know how you didn't realize that beforehand.
Yeah, that's the hard part. It's like they just found out now enough for this card to go up 11 times.
Like, he's been ranked super high by all GMs. Like, sure, the players didn't rank him high because he beats them every year, but GMs rate him really, really high because he's super valuable, and the way he can create time in the pocket is so impressive. Just like, Aaron Rodgers can, and just the sixth sense that Tom Brady has, but just, obviously a lot more mobile. Like, and just how freaking good he is at throwing the ball. Like, just how accurately it is in the breadbasket. Like, he's insane. Like, but how'd you not see that beforehand? I get it. He only threw like 22 times a game, but then you also got to realize that he threw like 2 touchdowns at 250 yards when he had like no attempts. So
Yeah,
that's silly.
it's definitely tough to say to be buying that at this point. I mean, geez, I couldn't even imagine. I mean, at this point, people basically have him I mean, it's kind of the MVP vote, I feel like. So
Yeah.
it's why would you
I
buy
get
now?
it. Let Russ cook, but I'm gonna cook you if you buy those cards right now. Like, that's dumb.
Oh, I get it. As far as who I'm out for this week, I mean, it's just kind of something I've been thinking about a lot lately. Ever since I got in the hobby like 6-8 months ago. I haven't been in here long, but I learned pretty early. I think that just like different types of cards, numbered cards, just collecting tons of different types of things is way more fun than just collecting Prism base. Why do I want Prism base? Just because everyone everyone hypes Prism base just because it's worth the most. It's easy
Prism
to transact. It's like, what am I doing? I'm not into that. So I've just been going for numbered cards lately, and I feel like over time, a lot of people are gonna kind of transition, even if they are people that flipped or invested or whatever those naughty words are. Even if they are people that did that, over time they'll spend their money probably on more collectible type things, because that's actually, I think, just inherently cooler. There's nothing more impressive about a collection than having different things. Like, I don't want to look at like 50 Prism bases on a wall. Like, that's no fun. So I don't know. I'm just out for Prism people. Just collect a little more. And if you do, then Prism can be a fun little side thing. But I couldn't imagine, man. Just a full collection of Prism. It's pretty tough.
I agree. I mean, collect what makes you happy, and that cards that you think are cool. Like, it just makes a lot more sense. I love Crown Royal. I've been a big Donruss Optic fan since the beginning, so both of those things are fun things for me to like. And like, I even think sometimes Score has really, really good pictures, like not the college stuff, but I think some of their pictures are really nice. So I just collect pictures I think are cool. I'll buy it from any set if I'm like, man, that's a really cool photo of something. So I couldn't agree more. It's crazy. Prism's
definitely
okay.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right.
Mine, kind of on this, like on the same note, is just don't ride the wave of popularity. You're just gonna lose money doing that. Russell Wilson's doing really, really good. Buying that card right now and riding the wave of his popularity, like, you are going to get burned, because obviously he has the most news and media attention right now, and also he's playing very, very, very good football. Why would you buy it then? Do your research, pick undervalued players. Again, Alex said that earlier in the podcast, but that's so super important. Pick guys that you believe in, or, again, Russell Wilson was super underrated. I was laughing, but at like the offseason, his auto rookie cards were selling for $40 to $50 a few months ago. Like, that's crazy. Like, you could have got like numbered auto rookies of Russell Wilson for $40, $50. I remember looking at that, scratching my head, and then buying some Russell Wilson rookie cards. So I'm like, that's so cheap. And if you're doing that and you're thinking, who's a player that's really good that I don't own, but that'd be pretty cool, and then looking at those prices and seeing, like, I think he's worth a lot more than that. I think he's valued at higher than that, and doing that's going to make you money, and also be able to build your collection to be a step ahead of everyone, because buying Russell Wilson right now would kind of suck, but if you like him as a player, you could have bought him months ago. You just, that's the risk of it, of not riding the wave, is you have to believe that player is going to do well, and that's how you get the reward, is being ahead and buying it. And you're not going to hit home run every time, but if you're picking all pro players that are extremely undervalued, like you're gonna do pretty well. So don't ride the wave, and yeah, redo your research and find an angle that nobody's looked at yet.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you'll feel good about yourself when you have Russell Wilson. I mean, you'll feel like deep down, whenever Russell Wilson cards drop, you'll be like, but I still had the right guy though, he's still good. So I did good, but it's like, you didn't do good. You lost money. So, I mean, if you like the guy, then that's fine. And you're not going to feel as bad about it if you lose money, but you're not going to hit the home run like you could elsewhere. And it's not, a crazy risk all the time. So, yeah, exactly. Just, kind of do your own thing. And if people come to you, that's good. You don't want to be going to everyone that, has it going for them at the time. That really doesn't make any sense. And kind of, along the same thing. I mean, we're kind of on the same wavelength tonight as far as these go, but just roasting people that kind of conform to a newfound medium, I guess. And I feel like second and third year cards have gotten tons of love like lately because a lot of people get priced out from rookies of certain players, so they start trying to find an angle, second, third year cards, all that type of stuff. I think the better way to go about it is just find really cool sets that you like, because at the end of the day, if they end up going down in price, you're still going to have a really cool set that you like. And if you legitimately think that the set is cool for a couple different reasons, like long term, people probably are going to care more about a set if it's like low pop and pretty different than if they're going to care about a certain numbered year that the card is in when it's not going to be a rookie card. So I just think you should probably diversify a bit more than what you're doing beyond the road, other than just second and third year cards that have taken off lately because people are getting outpriced. So it's kind of all the same thing, I think we had a nice little conclusion there between the 3 points. Just one on top of the other.
Exactly. And don't be afraid. If you really like Russell Wilson, there's dirt cheap Russell Wilson rookie cards. It's just you have to be willing to buy, I don't know, like Topps Prime, or stuff like that. Those are still his rookie card. There are still options for you. Topps Chrome is not the only thing that came out, in 2012. And so be willing to do that too, because the rising tide does float all the boats. And find a cool picture that you like of that rookie card and buy one for $5, $10, $15, and or again with LeBron, you can get cool LeBron rookie cards for really, really cheap. It's not hard. You have to again, if you really like and believe in that player, buying a different rookie card isn't crazy, because they will go up if it's the right player.
Yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, if you got the right guy, that's mostly what you need. So it really, beyond that, it's all kind of out of your control and just matters where the hype goes. So it's not really something you can plan for too much, but try to do what you can, I guess, in terms of what we're trying to plan for. I guess we'll go on into our weekly picks. You want to start it off for us?
Yeah. Alec mentioned it earlier, but mine was Donovan Mitchell.
Still the Thunder.
His optics are nice and cheap still. Higher than before the bubble started, but lower than bubble prices. $15-$20 for his optic rookie. Doesn't feel like much of a loss. I really feel like he's either gonna get traded, and again, he's gonna do the same thing. He's gonna take the Jazz pretty far, and hopefully he can stay healthy. I mean, he wasn't healthy this last year too, so it'll be nice to see him hopefully in an all-star game with some playoff, maybe putting up a lot of points and being in the MVP conversation. That's really possible for Donovan Mitchell. I mean, he's a great three-point shooter, super athletic. He reminds me a ton of young Dwayne Wade. I think it's a solid pick.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, like I mentioned earlier, I definitely agree. I mean, in terms of people are pumped about Tyler Hero just having one big game. This guy did it for a whole series and almost willed his team to victory alone. So I mean, the fact that he's just going to make people see him differently next year. I mean, he's just going to get that level of respect. I feel like that people kind of took off for a year. And yeah, I definitely like his potential. As soon as, or I guess as far as, one that I have, as soon as he's ready to be fit, that is, Leroy Sané, pretty pumped about. I mean, it sucks. I hate it with sports cards that I'm pumped about someone getting injured, but that obviously is opportunity. It's not confirmed that it's a long injury, but basically, no matter at what point, this would be like a Euro sale for me. Just going off the back end of the Bundesliga season and then going into Euros, you're gonna have a ton of hype because I think Bayern's kind of a building rolling ball. It just kind of gains momentum over time, and then the hype will kind of come along with it. They'll be in Champions League games again. We'll be like, oh my god, oh geez. And then like Coman, whenever he scored a goal in a Champions League match, his card goes up 10x. It's like it's not sustainable, but people are going to be pumped, man. People are going to be pumped for Champions League again. They're going to be pumped for Euros, World Cups, and to have someone like Leroy Sané, who's just going to be a staple of Bayern and Germany going forward, like, feels like a gimme, especially since, kind of down right now. It's a good time.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. He's like 2018 Prisms were like $20. Like, ew.
Yeah, very nice.
Free money. Yeah, speaking of soccer and the United States now, goalie Zach Steffen, he is now with Man City. He's gotten in a little bit to play, and he's a goalie, so he's a little bit cheaper, a little bit more under the radar than even I think goalies can be a little bit even more exciting and talked about than those corners that that we were talking about. So corners.
You try it again.
Center backs. Sorry, I was thinking about football. Still, center backs. Woo.
In the mood.
Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, I think that it's a great purchase and really cheap. Topps Chrome's really cool too. So, he's in that, and I think that is a great purchase. And again, there's only 11 guys on that field for the United States, and he will most likely be one of them. So.
Yeah, it's a pretty condensed pipeline that people would be throwing money into when World Cup comes around. I mean, that's why we talk about it a lot. I mean, I definitely agree. In terms of someone else, I guess I'll follow it up with a little Christian Pulisic reminder. Just to let you know he's out there. Like we talked about it earlier, he's back and healthy. He's basically ready to go. Chelsea's taking it slow for him, so he kind of. Hopefully doesn't get injured again, but that's good. That's what we like to see. Crossed. So I'm not hurting. His card prices honestly haven't even bounced back up yet. I'll be taking an eye on eBay over the week too. But honestly, I think that, he's the play going forward. He'll be the man. And if he's banging in goals for the U.S. on a consistent basis, I don't know how much more into the spotlight you can get with the card community being mostly in the U.S. So I'm all about it. But, just a little reminder for everyone. He's still rearing and ready to go.
Yeah, again, still so cheap. And, again, just like Alex said, just imagine. Like, when World Cup qualifiers even come around this next year, he's scoring goals, like the highlights. I mean, it's going to be all over ESPN, Sports Center. And, again, there's going to be so much hype about this team because we're actually going to be really good and exciting and fun to watch. It's going to be the real deal.
Yeah, I can't wait.
And again, I was talking about it earlier, but again, DK Metcalf's really been popping off. I've liked him, and there's a lot of cheap options. You can get his Donruss rookie, like his Donruss Canvas rookie, which is even harder to pull, and you can get it for $5-10. There's his unparalleled rookie, like for like $5. His autos aren't very expensive compared to his prisms. Like, I'd way rather have an auto rookie card than, a prism-based PSA 10. So, like, there's really a ton of options, just like I was saying earlier. And just a example with DK Metcalf, too. If you are excited about Russell Wilson, you could put it into him. He's really young. He has got a great build, and, he's definitely looking... He's at an all pro pace right now, so it's not a crazy buy, I think, if you're interested in football.
Yeah, definitely agree. That makes sense. And like you said, and like we were talking about, just always going a different route. I agree with the autos over the prisms. The auto's never going to be not appreciated. Prism
Yeah.
can come and go. But talking about prisms, I guess I'll add one to the mix. This is more of a kind of a flip, not as much of a long term buy, I guess, as my other ones. Joel Embiid prism. Looking at these, I mean, you could go anywhere you want with it. It doesn't necessarily have to be prism, but I mean, I saw a 9.5 that was going for like $60 today, and back, like a year ago, they're like 30, 40. I mean, they're not too much different a long time ago in the basketball market. So I feel like they're pretty underappreciated. Obviously, Joel didn't do, what I guess people were hoping from the 76ers, but they've always had the weird dynamic there that I don't feel like their ceilings, ever as high as, what some people may be expecting. I've never really expected that out of him, but he's going to be a big name, and he's going to, as long as he stays moderately healthy, and he did pretty much this season, like, it'd be big numbers. It'd be big hype. And I mean, if people are willing to throw so much money into Kyle Kuzma, I mean, Joel's a big name. Obviously, he's not getting a ring, but the dip just it's been immense. Like he's $200 to $300 for the same like 9.5 Prism card, and now it's like 60. I don't know. Just something to keep an eye on going forward into basketball. Like we're saying, just try to get ahead of the curve on it. Get your eyes on some players. I know you're more of a Ben Simmons guy, aren't you?
Well, I don't know. Like, I think
Maybe
he's
not.
got more hype flippability if they do well next year. Now that, Doc Rivers just got announced their coach, it'll be pretty interesting. We'll see what he can do with it. And, again, $50-$60. Yeah, that's not very expensive for a guy that, he averaged like 29 in that series where they lost. Like,
yeah,
nothing
people
really
still
he
hated
could
on
do
him, but
about
he
it.
put up stats. Yeah,
He's also a fun personality in the NBA too. People like him. He likes to talk, and that's important too. Popularity is really big, so
got to be out there.
He'll make an All-Star game. So,
agreed. No, I think it's pretty decent. Just got to keep your eyes looking ahead. And I think that's what we're going to be doing, looking ahead to next week, and having a good time coming at you guys again here soon with another pod. We both were kind of busy over the last week, but got a lot of free time now. Always watching sports, having fun, right, Caleb?
Oh, always. And always browsing that eBay, Always ready to...
just scouting, seeing what's going on the land.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great time.
Ready to spend money.
But yeah, we haven't even plugged our Instas. We waited this long. I don't know how we did it, but yeah, I'm Alec. That's my actual name, but I'm also Cutting Edge Cards on Insta. No G in the cutting. And Caleb, you are
Caleb _sports _cards another underscore at the end.
There we go. Nailed it. But feel free to follow us over there. We got cards being posted basically daily. Just nice little things we got going on in the collection. And enjoyed talking to you guys today. This is going to be it for episode number 5 of Sports Card Corner. So hopefully you guys have a good one, and peace.
Woo!